Can I clear up a misconception I keep seeing first? Um, Juju Watkins did not win unanimous National Player of the Year. I keep seeing people say, Watkins, how could you be the National Player of the Year unanimously? She wasn't. Not to say she won't be, but she wasn't, right? Like, let's just make that clear. Words matter and context matter. Juju Watkins was voted National Player of the Year unanimously by The Athletic. That is one outlet. I don't know how many writers voted on it, but that does not mean she won the award across the country unanimously or the Wooden Award or something like that unanimously. Obviously, her chief competition for National Player of the Year is Hannah Hidalgo, who did get recognition by the ACC. You cannot say Hannah was snubbed by the ACC. She won Player of the Year and she won Defensive Player of the Year. Only the third player in the history of the conference to do that, to get both in the same season. The others were Lindsey Harding of Duke in 2007 and Monica Wright of Virginia in 2010, if you're curious about that. And I love Hannah Hidalgo. I look forward to watching her in the tournament. Her feistiness, her spunk, her energy is exciting to watch. I was banging the Hannah Hidalgo drum all season long, especially at the beginning of the season when only Paige Beckers and Juju Watkins were talked about. So I reject this notion that comes my way sometimes that the media is in the bag for Juju Watkins. I don't know. I can't speak for other media members, but putting me into the media in this instance makes no sense because, to be honest, I stand to benefit personally more, I would say, from Hidalgo. Just because I could say I was on board from the beginning and I told y'all before, like I could say I called it early. If I had a vote right now, I would give it to Juju Watkins. I've expressed why. I still think it's very close, but I do believe Watkins has passed her in the last couple of weeks, several weeks, towards the stretch of the season, the end of the season. USC had its biggest wins. Notre Dame had several losses. Statistically, the profile is close. It's not a blowout one way or another. People are being disingenuous when they say that. I mean, here are Hidalgo's stats. She is averaging a little bit. I mean, the points are essentially the same. Her percentages are better. That's Hidalgo's best argument. She has better percentages from the floor. I would also argue she has significantly better players in the backcourt with her when you look at what Hidalgo is working with there versus perhaps the defensive attention Juju Watkins receives on the perimeter. These are Juju's numbers. When you break it down, again, I mean, more rebounds for Juju. Points are a wash. Blocks for Juju. Steals for Hannah, but Juju has good steals numbers too. And the percentages go in Hannah's favor. That's the truth of the matter. Stats don't lie. But taking the entire body of work into the equation, I did give Juju the nod. Part of that's the eye test, how awesome she looked down the stretch, where it's like, yeah, she's the best prospect. What are you going to do? And she was playing the best. And she went up against another top 5 team and beat them twice with her most, dominant performances of the year. Not to mention she had the dominant performance in the first half against UConn early in the year. Her team finished, I would argue, in a tougher conference with a better record and heads into the tournament perhaps as hot as anybody. Meanwhile, Notre Dame did lose 2 of its last 3 games, and Hannah struggled perhaps at the wrong time. Juju did have a period of struggles earlier too. So I'm not saying in the National Player of the Year race that like Juju ran away and hid. And I'm not dismissing the season that Hannah Hidalgo had either. I mean, at this point, I couldn't see a vote going to anyone else. I'll say that. That would be the most shocking outcome is if another player other than those two received a vote. But, I mean, it was nice to see Hannah get the recognition from the ACC because you got to remember, that's the same conference Tanaya Latson plays in. also, who's leading the nation in scoring, who got the best of Notre Dame recently. So it's not like there isn't competition in the conference either, right? Not like there's not other good players in the conference. Those two at the top of it right now. But I do think when you look at the Big Ten, they've got USC, UCLA, Ohio State, Maryland, Michigan State. That's five top 25 teams, not including a team like Iowa, who has shown they can hang with anybody. I mean, the same number in the ACC as well. So maybe it's pretty close. I mean, NC State, Notre Dame, Duke, North Carolina, and Florida State. It's just that the Big Ten has a couple of those teams closer to the top, specifically USC and UCLA. And those two recent Watkins wins came against UCLA. Notre Dame was number one at one, but they held on to it for such a short period of time. And I think Hannah was also hurt when she got hurt a little bit. She sprained her ankle or something, and she missed a couple games, and I don't think she's quite played at the same level since then. But maybe this is the chip on her shoulder she needs. If she feels she's the national player of the year, she can go out and show it and prove it. I mean, it just makes the tournament more exciting that way. I'm looking forward to watching both of them and Paige Beckers. And Paige has some pressure on her to try and get a national championship for UConn in her UConn career, or go down as the best UConn player not to do it. There's a lot of cool storylines. Can South Carolina repeat with the depth? I did the video on that yesterday. But I just wanted to clear up the misconception that Juju already won National Player of the Year. Articulate why remember, like earlier in the season, I had Hannah 1 and Juju 2. So it's not like I vaulted Juju from 5 or 6 to 1. She moved up one spot. I think she just passed her in the last couple of weeks, but it's still close. And give Hidalgo that recognition, because whether or not she wins National Player of the Year doesn't mean she didn't have an unbelievable season. She certainly did. And it's coming off of a season where she was also the Defensive Player of the Year last year in the ACC and the Rookie of the Year. And I believe All-American. So Hannah's doing just fine, right? Like, she's doing just fine. And Juju also, it wasn't hype that got Juju by the end of the season. Maybe you could argue at the beginning of the season, but she proved, undeniable. And all this is good for the game and for the upcoming NCAA tournament.